Broadcasting around the world on the internet 24 hours a day at www.odysseytv.org. This is Odyssey Instructional Television, a program of the San Bernardino County Regional Occupational Program.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another show, Jim Hall, You Ought to Know, coming to you from south of the border. We're in Tijuana, Mexico, at the Cipag Clinic. In fact, let me tell you this name, Dr. Castillo. If you take a look at this building right here, you'll equate this with education, medication, and getting well, because Dr. Castillo is all about wellness. And we're going to meet Dr. Castillo on this show today, the first time ever on this particular adventure of You Ought to Know. Dr. Castillo is our guest. We're going to find out what goes on in Tijuana and a little bit about the clinic he has here. There's a laboratory, a pharmacy. Oh, they even have the CAT scan, and they've got the great treatment right here that you're going to learn about. His philosophy, education, mental and physical. Simply because on this show, you ought to know. Stay with us. Great show coming up from Tijuana, Mexico. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, You Ought to Know. And as I told you in the opening of the show, we've traveled below the border, as it were. Well, it's the northern part of the country here. We're in Tijuana, Mexico. Dr. Castillo, longtime associate. I've known him, I guess, met you 25 years ago or better?
26 years ago.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Castillo, people in the high desert may recognize this guy or know the name. He's held a number of seminars in our area. You've been at the Green Tree Inn numerous times.
Numerous times.
And you actually, you travel the world educating patients, people, common people about illnesses and how to recuperate from them.
Yes, it is something that is very, very important to educate people about their illnesses and about their health, because there is so many wrong concepts about diabetes, about arthritis, about cancer. So it's very important to educate people.
All right, let's educate somebody right now. Let's do 2 or 3 things. I say diabetes. What's a big misconception that we think about with diabetes?
Well, the number one is that people think diabetes is a problem the patient has with sugar. So they focus on sugar, but they eat everything else.
Okay.
And no, diabetes is a problem the patient has with carbohydrates. And I educate them on how to count carbohydrates so that their illness is much better controlled. Okay, probably living with less medication.
Arthritis.
With arthritis, well, there is a lot of misconceptions about the taking of medications. Some medications are very, very important for arthritis, and they will improve the patient's quality of life.
Now, I have people that I know that have been diagnosed with cancers. And, in fact, they were told they were 2nd, 3rd stage cancers, and we need to start chemotherapy immediately. There are alternatives and things people can educate themselves with getting better and recovering. You can recover.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Some patients are definitely patients for chemotherapy. But working on their health, mental health, on their nutrition, may help them to stand chemo much better, to recuperate much faster.
Yeah, and you bring up an interesting point there. It really does tie the mental and the physical have to be together. Otherwise, you've got a real disconnect going on when it comes to really getting yourself on an even plane and healing, being able to heal.
Yes. Many times, right at the first visit with the patient, I can tell whether we're going to have problems or not. just because of their attitude. And we have to understand them. I mean, they are sick, right? But it's my obligation to point that out and try to change it to make them a little bit more positive and cooperate better with their treatments.
With illnesses that you see, both people from the U.S. that come here to Tijuana, people from Mexico or South America come up here to Tijuana, people being treated in general that you see in the clinic, what is a misconception with what we think in daily life, the way we eat, the way we consume beverage, medications? Do we have misconceptions, or is there something we need to be thinking about in our daily lives that keep us well?
Well, there is a lot of problems going on. Pollution is one thing. The changes in the weather is another thing. Stress is a major factor. It's amazing how many people are dealing now with autoimmune illnesses. And I think it is linked with modern life stress. So,
and stress can certainly manifest itself in a lot of different ways. And we talk about mental and physical. It certainly mentally tears you apart when you're under stress, financial stress, family stress, educational. Am I going to pass this course, or do I have to take another year, or what am I doing? And it's the little things that turn into the big things, and then it starts to really take a toll on the physical.
Yes, everybody knows that chronic sustained stress makes a number on your immune system, on your defenses. And that's when illness strikes and you cannot fight back.
Well, in just a minute, we're going to come back. But I got to tell you, I was here about 25 years ago or so at this clinic. And first off, you have grown a little bit. Beautiful clinic here. Describe what we have here.
Well, our clinic is in a 3-story building. And through the years, we have put it together. We have an X-ray department, a laboratory department, and also a pharmacy. And the 3rd floor, we have 10 rooms, 10 apartments that people can rent to stay there while they are coming for their treatment. We have also a psychologist on the 2nd floor and dental offices, which lots of people come from dental work to Mexico.
Well, we have just about a minute left as we open this show up here today. But when we talk about this clinic here, you have the capacity to see people that range from minor or no illness that you see for the slightest problems or physical well-being, mental well-being, right up to the most critical patient.
Yes, if I was able to choose, I would choose seeing patients for just overall checkups. Okay, with a good checkup, you can pretty much tell what that patient's tendencies are going to be, whether diabetes, cancer, arthritis, heart attacks, strokes, and then you can do prevention.
Well, and it's always easier, isn't it, getting them in the earlier stages of anything if they continue to remain checked up, tuned up, and kind of on an even balance.
It's easier, less stressful, and less expensive.
Well, we're going to talk about that, too, in just a moment. We're going to be back. We're here in Tijuana, Mexico. I might say a beautiful building, beautiful clinic here.
Thank you very much.
If you pictured Tijuana, if you haven't been here, you probably think of old Tijuana, the tourist area. But this is a beautiful area here in Tijuana. I got to tell you, the parks, the fountains here, the adjacent buildings, just simply beautiful. We're going to be back with Dr. Castillo in a moment. We're going to talk about some of the treatments here. Simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, and we're in Tijuana, Mexico. Yes, I've traveled south of the border from where I live in the high desert and in Southern California. Dr. Castillo here with me. Dr. Castillo, thanks for joining us on this show.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Now, we talked about this beautiful clinic you've got, and we've come up to the 3rd floor. You mentioned these beautiful apartment-type rooms that people can rent if they are. Are most of your people here taking treatments here at the clinic for a period of time, or?
Yes, they come from 1 week, from 3 days actually, for a checkup to 3.5 weeks for complete treatments.
Now, the treatments that they may take, can you describe some of the types of things that go on here with some of these patients?
Well, we have a very unique way, and it is that we use the intravenous route quite a bit. It's a very direct way of attacking a problem. and the patients actually may start feeling better in a few days, and that makes a difference. Patients then feel better, they want to cooperate with their treatments and look forward being with better health.
I've even heard it said, you mentioned it there, that people feel better in just a matter of a couple treatments or a few days, and they look forward to the next treatment, like with the anticipation.
Yes, there are patients that come, some of them very sick and depressed, probably even thinking negative because they have been so many places already. And when they start some treatment intravenously, the changes come fast. So then they change their way of thinking.
Well, some of those changes describe that. They start feeling like they have a little bit more energy, like they want to get out of bed in the morning, that they're excited about the change that they feel in their body.
It's mainly more energy, being more alert, having better appetite, having less pain or stiffness. Sometimes you don't even have to ask the patient how he's doing. He just looks better.
Well, this is one of the suites here where they can come and stay. And this is actually right here. Your clinic is just below, 2 floors below us here. And they can stay. This is the 3rd floor in this beautiful suite building here. And these are the suites. You mentioned it. What are the name of the suites? How do I pronounce that? Kasagi.
Kasagi Suites.
It sounds like I'm in Japan. Is that a Japanese type name?
No, it's not.
No.
No.
Does it have what does Kasagi mean?
It's actually the combination of 2 last names, Castillo and Aguirre,
Well, that's you.
and my wife.
And your wife. Well, the suites are beautiful. We have here the amenities where how many people can you put in the room at any given time? Do you have families that come stay?
Yes, we can put up to 2 persons, three persons in a given room.
Well, and they've got the amenities here. They've got the beds. They've certainly got that. They do have, if they bring their laptop down, you have Wi-Fi here.
Yes, they can bring their laptops and even do some work if they want to do something like that. We have high-speed internet, phone, TV, and a complete kitchenette. And that helps patients. For example, if they need to start a diet, they can start the diet from day number 1.
So they can start feeling better about themselves. They can actually cook what they like to eat here rather than relying on that fast food stuff with the grease and the carbohydrates we talked about. And they can actually start to feel better right here in the clinic without having to actually leave the building.
Yes. Some patients stay in the United States side of the border, and they will come every day for treatment or consultations. But they have to go through the border daily, and that sometimes is tiresome. So people stay here, it's very relaxing, and all they need to do is just get on the elevator.
Well, I've got to tell you, we are located just about 3.5 minutes, not miles, 3.5 minutes after I crossed over the border. I'm here at your office. Very, very easy and local. I just stay to the right. Just remember, when you cross to the border, stay to the right, and you come around and circle here, and your clinic is just a couple streets away.
Yes, and by walking, it takes 10 minutes, normal pace walking, to go back to the border.
Well, that's a good walk. That's a perfect amount of exercise, even for people that are feeling a little under the weather, isn't it?
Yes, it's relaxing. People know they are doing some exercise and they feel good about it.
Well, we are here at the clinic, and the name of the clinic is what?
The name of the clinic is Cipag.
Cipag.
Yeah, Cipag, and everybody knows it by Dr. Castillo's clinic.
Yeah. And Dr. Castillo is well known in our area, the high desert area in Southern California, from Thousand Oaks to Palm Desert. We've got people that even know you over in Arizona that called and said, hey, Dr. Castillo is coming to Victorville for a seminar, and we want to find out more about it.
Yes, I go to Victorville in the high desert at least a couple of times a year to do lectures about diabetes, cancer, vascular problems, things that people should know so they will be more aware.
It's all about education and getting the word out that if you start to feel something, maybe there's something going on. And that's where this clinic really comes in, because you do what you do here. The reason for these suites is the treatment, of course, but starting early, doing a complete evaluation, a complete physical, complete blood panel, so you know what's going on with the patient.
Yes, it is very important, because with a well-intended, well-done physical examination and medical history and well-intended laboratory tests or x-rays, you can pretty much tell what that patient's tendencies are going to be in the future, so that we can work for that.
All right.
Okay?
Well, it's what it's all about. Feeling better, enjoying life. That's what it's about. And we're going to talk more about that as we continue on with this show right here. From Tijuana, Mexico, Dr. Castillo, our guest, and we'll be back with more, simply because you ought to know. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, along with Dr. Castillo here at the Cipag Clinic in Tijuana, Mexico is where we are. We traveled here. We know Dr. Castillo. Well, I've known him a little bit over 25 years or so. And the clinic actually started out where down here? You weren't always in this building?
No, we have been here for the last 16 years. But the other years we were in the same neighborhood, a little bit south of here.
Well, you certainly, as we talked about, you saw the rooms here, and then we're in the treatment area here. You got patients that are receiving some treatment, and we know, you mentioned how important education is to getting people mind and matter together, as it were, mental and physical, so important.
It's very, very important that people know what they're doing. It's also very important to know their actual condition.
Yeah, and you talk about that, and that's a key point, because if they don't understand it, how do you get your mind into it then?
Yes, if you don't know how seriously sick you are, then you won't take the steps necessary to go back to health.
Well, and it is about doing those steps, and some of the things you've done here at this clinic to make this such a fantastic facility, what you have here. We mentioned, again, just about 3 minutes after I cross the border, I'm here at the office. Very easy to get to. Beautiful area here, and this building, just I can't say enough about this clinic, because you've got here the capacity to do CAT scan. You have the laboratory here, all on premises. All the lab work can be done here. Pharmacy is here if you need to prescribe medication, and of course the treatments can all be done right here at the clinic.
Yes, we have tried to put everything together so patients don't have to be wondering, finding where they're going to have their x-ray done or where they're going to have the blood taken. It's just here, it's this first floor.
Well, it makes it so much easier for the patient to be able to get around. It makes it so much more accessible for you, the doctor, to have the information readily available to you right now.
Yes, and if something doesn't check, we can double check it right away.
That lab, you look at a lab level, a potassium level, or a sodium, or a glucose level, and you say, well, maybe a question here, we can repeat that right here.
Yes, and we do it at no extra cost.
Yeah. So this setup that you have here, you mentioned 16 years here at this facility. How long ago did you put in your CAT scan in the pharmacy in here and so on?
Well, the CAT scan has been there only for 2 years.
And you have to see the advantage of having that capacity here. You do the ultrasound here as well?
Yes, that X-ray department has ultrasound, has regular X-raying, and the CAT scan.
Now, your patients that you get in here, from the very sickest patient to those coming down for rejuvenation, as it were, getting in touch, the mind, we talk about that mind and matter, mental and physical. When they talk about that, when you have discussions with them, when you have consultation, what do you find out about a patient from the sickest to the most well?
Well, we find a lot of things. It's very important to talk about their family history, because many of the illnesses we have may be coming down to us by genetics. So family history is important. Lifestyle, to know their lifestyle is very important also. And the illnesses that patient has had previously, before coming down here, everything is important. All information about the patient is very important to get a global picture of your patient.
Very important, and you bring up a really good point there, because family history plays such a big part in it. If there's things that I can change to lower my sugar level or change my blood pressure, and I do those things, or to avoid heart disease, well, it may be in my genetics that I'm going to have heart disease anyway. But so I've got to be really on top of my game, so to speak, to know what I'm dealing with.
Just for example, if you come down from parents that have had diabetes, both of them, well, there's a lot of things you can do to minimize your chances of you also becoming a diabetic.
Well, it's important that we know those things. So you talk about that with the patient. What about your grandmother? What about your mom? What about your father? Who had what in illnesses?
Yes, it's also very important to know about longevity. If you come from parents that lived to the 90s, then you have very good genes, and no matter what hits you, most likely you will come through.
Well, the location here I've mentioned, we were just, as I crossed the border, about 3 minutes away. You have come to Victorville. We know you've come a couple times a year, and you meet the families and the friends there, and you educate them. And it's really about what your seminars are about. Talk about that.
Yes, it's just plain education. Okay, it's also a nice excuse to get out of the office.
Well, you do get out of the office, but when you come for the seminars, people do listen. What do you tell them in there? That is it really you try and connect that mind and physical? Is that the real key element of learning and understanding your body?
It's one of the most important parts, but the most important is just to know what they're doing that can affect them, so we can modify that.
All right, now you have a website, and you also have people can call you, so that's real simple to do. So go to the website and get all the information. You have a lot there about education.
Yes, we have the website. We also have the email address. I mean, I get emails every day, people with just answers, or people that want to come down, they want to get an appointment, and I always answer them, probably not the same day, right, but within a week I will answer all the emails.
All right. Dr. Castillo, thank you so much for being on this show with us. And we're going to be back with more to wrap up this show. From Tijuana, Mexico is where we are, the Cipag Clinic. Dr. Castillo, better yet, you know the name. Now check out the website and get all the information and stay healthy, simply because, like with all of our shows, you ought to know. Stay with us. We'll be right back to wrap it up. Well, that's going to put the wraps on another show, everybody. Jim Hall, you ought to know, coming from Tijuana, Mexico. Dr. Castillo, our guest on this show. Special thanks to everyone here at the clinic, the Cipag Clinic in Tijuana, Mexico. I'm Jim Hall, and it's been a real learning experience talking with Dr. Castillo again. I've known the man for 25 years, and let me tell you, it's about education, it's about mental health, physical health, and doing what's right. And as you heard Dr. Castillo say, it's so important to treat illnesses early, to be aware of your body, and to know what you need. And that's what this clinic offers right here. If you need more information about Dr. Castillo, go to the website. Real easy to find. All the information is there. And, in fact, you can always check our website where we'll have this show available for you at www.odysseytv.org. Like with all of our shows, we're so happy you joined us right here because you ought to know. See you next time, everybody. Stay healthy.